Hi, it's Nikki from Energy and Emotion. I thought I'd explain a little bit about what happens when you paint with me and how it can benefit you. When we do intuitive painting together, either individual or in very small groups. In very small groups, I don't work with more than 5 or 6 people because it gets very, very personal. And we have a lot of tears sometimes that's coming up. And in big groups, it's not very comfortable. So even online, if it's a group workshop, I'll only be doing very, very small groups. So as I explained in my last video, the basic benefit of intuitive painting, it's really to become more in tune with your intuition, to listen to your heart, to take you out of your head and all this machine here and getting it right, and technique of coming in here and just feeling through the painting and just completely letting go. So that's one thing. It's also helping us to accept who we are and where we are on our journey, that all paths really in our life, that everything, the ups and downs, create the ups and downs in the painting. And also obviously the benefits, if you're working with me in person with my oils, or if you have your own oils at home, I can tell you more about that later. But the oils will really, using essential oils in the paint will also help you to work through emotion as well. So what I find when we work together, I help you basically just to do the first couple of layers, just to let go, because that's often the hardest thing, is when you haven't painted for, since you're at school and you're sat here with a blank canvas thinking, oh my God, what have I got to do? I've got to feel the canvas. So I give you techniques basically on just how to let go and go with it, and then getting you going through. And if I see if you're blocking or if you're coming too much into your head, I can give you techniques to get away with that, to get away from that, and come more into your heart. And what happens is that we will all do our own painting, often quietly. I prefer to do it quiet without the talk going on, because I'm really into the painting. If we're chatting, we're not really always present in the emotion. Though things have happened before, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that after. But often it's almost done quite meditatively, almost like as a meditation, that we're completely in the painting. We're not talking. I'll probably have some soft music going on if you're with me. And also maybe to set up a sacred space, because this is really, it's very personal. We're opening up our energy into the painting. So, I will have oils being diffused. You can put crystals around. You can ask your guides to come in if you work with that. You can set an intention of what you want to be working through or not. And then, so we paint through the technique, through the layering. And I often ask you to take a picture through each layer with your camera, so that you can see what's happened, and we can go through and everybody can look. And tears often come up. I've had things where people just absolutely bawling their eyes out. One minute they're happy, and then suddenly, especially with the oils, they really get things going. Suddenly, 1 minute they're laughing, and suddenly all these tears just come up, and it's just like flowing, and things unblock and things become clear for them. And then we talk about the painting. This isn't about symbolism. It's not about me saying, oh, this represents you, this represents this. It's really more of a feeling of how you see it, what you're saying in your painting, because what I see and what you see is not the same thing. I think somebody one time painted a dancer, and it came through that she saw this figure of a dancer. Well, for me, that's movement, but for her, that was her flying off and not being grounded. So it's, it's really, it's very on our own feelings, but we can all give feedback and say, well, oh yes, I see this and I see that. And the person in the end, it's really how you really feel with your art. And then we can also talk about how that's relating in your life right now, especially with the oils, because they'll really give you the complete global view of it. They'll give you like it makes a 2D picture into a 3D picture. And it really helps you to see really where you are. It's sometimes the soul we can't always put into words what our soul wants to tell us. It's sometimes difficult to put into words how we feel. We can't always feel it, or things are often buried down. And through the painting, it helps just put those words into pictures, which are much more easily explained, and we can actually see and sit down and look at them. So it's taking things out of your soul onto the picture, so we can look at a distance. And obviously with the oils to translate the emotions as well that are going on in your life. And I've had people long after the session, if you're working with me in public, with me face to face, which is obviously not possible at the minute due to the virus, etc. But if you're working with me, I would probably give you little samples of the essential oils we're using, so that you can then take those home and continue to work with them. And often during that time after is when the real shifts are coming, especially when the oils are used after to continue to work the emotions. A lot of stuff comes up. I had one woman one time, just an example, I had a workshop, and there's this elderly lady, I think she was in her 70s, and she came with her daughter to the workshop. And she hadn't painted since school, and she was painting lots of pretty little flowers. It was so beautiful. It was gorgeous little painting. But I said, I think you need to let go, because you're too much in your head. You're thinking about what you're doing. You're planning this. We need to get you going. So why don't you just, let go. Don't think about it. Paint with left hand if you want, but just let go and don't think. Just go crazy. And she played the game, and she just went, okay, I'm going to do that. And she just put everything everywhere, and blah, 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 and blah, 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 talking and putting fingertips everywhere. And then she stopped, and I said, do you see what I see? I said, look, I can see this little man, like a stick man, running through this path. And she said, oh my God, she said, that's me. I'm running to my new life. I lost my husband last year, and this is me running to my life, and I feel so much better because I feel free. And it was so lovely, because she hadn't thought. It was a case where we were just talking, and she didn't really think about what she was doing. And this picture came out of nowhere, and she just saw it completely. She felt so transformed by it, because she saw that she was actually free to move into a new life alone. And it's and that was a time way back at the beginning when I was starting, so that I didn't have my oils at that time. But it's so powerful. It's so powerful to see people transform through something so simple as painting. So I mean, at the end we will look at each step of the way, the photos you're taken, and to see the bigger picture. It's very, very powerful. You have been warned. It's a powerful technique, and it's a beautiful technique, and it often sets people off as well, just on a new creative path that they've never thought of before, because people don't know how to paint. They're frightened of it since school, because we're in this perfection. My cat's just clawing at the door. We're so frightened of school because we were judged for our painting of how good we were, how bad we were. And in actual fact, we were just painting how we like to paint. And so we lost this childlike way of just painting for the fun of it. And school came in, and we were looking at other people's paintings, thinking, well, yours is good, mine's is bad, and then that's it stopped. So painting creatively in this way just helps people to come back to their inner child, and it helps them just to release the inner creator, and so that anybody can paint just for the fun of it, It's like we don't have to be great singers just to sing in the shower. We don't have to be a professional dancer to be able to dance at a party. And the same with the painting. We don't have to be an artist to paint. We can just paint just for the fun of it. And our souls work through image. and with movement, and not necessarily with words. And paintings is such a beautiful way to let that soul speak within you. And it's also so meditative because we're so in the moment. We're not thinking about anything else. We're just here right now. And it's such a lovely technique. After, you know, when we finish it and we see what we've done, it's like, oh wow. And people thought they couldn't paint, and then they see, oh my God, in actual fact, it's not so bad what I'm doing. And I'm just so sad when I see people who judge themselves, because people end up judging themselves when they're too much in their head. They will sometimes start at the canvas thinking, I can see them thinking, okay, I'm trying to paint flowers here, thinking, don't do this. Don't have any agenda of what you need to paint. This isn't about painting something. It's just painting emotion. For me, it's energy and emotion. That's all it is. And the colours we use as well can speak so much. Whether it's related to our chakras, to our emotions, to memories, to feelings. There was, I mean, as you can see, my paintings are, you know, I've only got a tiny example of them here, but they're all in colour. And I did, one time I did 2 or 3 pictures in black and white. Somebody told me, Nikki, why don't you try doing black and white? You're always doing colour, try this. I've never cried so much, my goodness. I'd painted at first my whole canvas black, and I felt like I was looking into the depth of me, into my shadow, into the place where you don't want to look, and it was just so sad, so frightening. So I painted black, and then I painted white on top of it to bring the light in, and it was such relief, and I was just crying and crying and crying and crying. And in the end, it came out to be similar to this red one, but in black and white. And it's then that I really saw the power of colour, how strong it is. I don't like painting with black. I will probably do more in the future, but oof, it's you dive into the depths of something so deep. It's crazy. And I always end up getting drawn to turquoise and purple. So turquoise and purple, turquoise for me represents creative communication. It's really the thymus chakra and the throat chakra. So it's really, you know, bringing out your intuitive creativity. And I've always been obsessed with turquoise, because me, it's such a happy colour. It's so cheerful. But for me, I realise it represents creative communication, and obviously purple, lilac, it's spiritual. It's a connection to the divine. So it's not by chance that these two have always been my obsessional colours, and I really can't sit down at table and not choose these colours. I have to force myself, but they always come back to these two. So colours can mean a lot in your paintings as well, and I'll do more of that in another video. So I hope you enjoyed my video. I hope you give a little insight into how we work, and it'll be great to hear your thoughts.